All right, Bulls and Bears. I hope everyone's well. Back with another dose of economic reality. We continue to live through the biggest bubble of all time, folks. This economic bubble was pumped up on easy money, low interest rates. You all know the story. What's happening now with the levels of debt? It's coming to a breaking point. And actually, if you look at a lot of people, they're already beyond the breaking point. We're starting to see a lot of data rise upwards. We're going to talk about bankruptcies, delinquencies. When you look at some of the charts that we're going to put out here today, I think you're going to be completely convinced that we don't have much longer. Right now, I haven't said this over the past few years. I've said they're going to find new ways to kick the can down the road. It's getting to a point where there's not much that can be done unless they do something to the debt forgiveness that was done, like in the student loan situation where they just shave off the balance, haircut 50% off, something like that, something extreme that's never been done. Unless they do something like that, this whole rotten, stinking house of cards is coming down. I think very, very soon. So let's take a look at some numbers here, some charts. First of all, please give us a like if you notice that I haven't been running those ads. I have not been running sponsor ads, and I said I would stop doing that because some of you complained. I turned down a lot of money last month for a sponsor in order to bring you a more uninterrupted show. Because on top of the sponsor, then you had ads that would pop up, right? So I stopped doing the sponsor, and yeah, I lost some money, but big deal, right? The point is, I want to get the message out to you. This is not about the money, but please at least give me a like if you like, that particular move that I made to give you guys a better viewing experience, right? Jerome Powell says inflation's higher than expected. Also, recent speech that he gave expects rates to hold steady, right? So we went from everything's fine, everything's not so fine. We're going to do rate cuts. We're going to hike rates. Now we're going to hold them steady, right? They're all over the place, right? How can these people, the quote unquote experts, change their story so much, right? I know they're data dependent, but the data is not getting it's not getting better and then worse, better and worse. To make this sort of flip flopping, um, there's no excuse for this flip flopping, right? The data is getting worse, inflation's getting worse every time we look at it. Sure, it's slowing down every now and then, but then it speeds up, right? So this is completely bonkers. What these, I guess, leaders, we call them leaders because they do kind of run the economy, right? They set the interest rates, they figure out what mortgage rates are going to be, they decide what banks are going to live, what banks are going to get gobbled up into the oblivion. But first, take a look at this chart here, and I think you will agree that this is not looking so good for the U.S. consumer. We've got credit card debt versus the savings rate. Folks, the green line is the savings rate right at the all-time low. If you look back, this goes back to 2014, but it's dropping, right? And we're going to be well beneath the low that we saw in 2022. And it was actually quite surprising how it increased. How did people save money going into 2023? Well, it's dropping again. They didn't save money for long. I think a lot of that, this increase that you see right here in 2023, I think a lot of that was the 401k withdrawals, the emergency fund withdrawals, a lot of those shenanigans that people pulled. Credit card debt, however, look at this, completely opposite direction. It used to be we had higher savings than debt, right? Back in 2015. Remember, that was 5 years, 7 years out of the financial crisis. Things were still affordable, right? They kept rates too low for too long, too much easy money, too much easy loans from the bank, too much money created at the click of a mouse. And this is what you get. Look at this and tell me how much longer can this last? At interest rates where they are with these debt levels, credit cards, over 20% now interest rates. Folks, this is not going to be much longer before the consumer is going to be completely up against the wall, right? And of course, they can come out with some new surprise programs, but outside of something that's never been done before, I think we're headed into in the next few months, not next year. I know a lot of people come on here and they say, "Oh, it's going to happen in the next 10 years." Of course, lots going to happen in the next 10 years. I'm talking before the end of this year, the next few months. We're already mid-May. We're going to be, after next month is done, we're going to be halfway through 2024. It's flying by. and I can't wait. I can't wait for the fireworks to start going off here. Some people are afraid. Some people look at this as negative news, as doom and gloom, as run for the hills, chicken littles, saying it again. He's saying the economy is going to crash. I'm saying it's going to be a good thing. I'll be excited once we see it happen, right? And maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe it'll be so bad that I'll be like, "Oh, I wish this never happened." But I'm hoping for the correction because I know it's inevitable, right? I'm someone, just tell me the bad news, right? If I see a weird look on somebody's face, I know they're going to tell me something. I'm just like, tell me now. Just tell me the bad news now. Let's get this over with. Let's let this ship full of holes finally sink. Here's how they put it over at the Telegraph. America is running out of money, and nobody cares. Yeah, nobody cares. As long as we can borrow more money, buy now, pay later, run up more credit cards, take out more loans, nobody cares if the savings rate is near or at all-time lows. And I don't think they're correct. I think somebody cares, right? Saying nobody cares, that's definitely not true. There's some people out there that care. Most people don't because they know that this is just conjured money out of thin air. Do they know where this money comes from? Do they know it's not even real in physical form? It's mostly digital, right? 90% of the money in existence right now is digital money. It means it's digits on a screen. And when this whole, like I said earlier, this whole rotten house of cards finally comes down, you're going to need, and you're going to wish, I think, you had real assets. I'm talking about, in my opinion, silver is the best investment right now. Sure, there's some stocks you could probably get into right now that are going to go up, but silver, folks, with the position we're at right now in this economy, this debt, I think silver, you can't go wrong. Uh, Tariffs on Chinese goods. Remember, everybody was criticizing the tariffs. What was that 5, 6, 7 years ago? Tariffs on China, electric vehicles, solar cells, steel, aluminum, and more. And folks, you think this is going to help inflation? No, it's going to make it worse. Actually, inflation did start going up long before the current president. The inflation started going up before that. Now, it wasn't as crazy high as it was as it is now, and as high as it went up in 2020. That was unprecedented. But even before that, inflation was going up. Remember the pressure for the Fed to keep rates low. I think some of you might have forgot that. Some people have short memories. Overdue bills are rising with U.S. debt and delinquencies rising. The Fed shows they know what's going on, right? They know what's going on. What could happen is they could use a surge in delinquencies and foreclosures. They could use that as a reason to cut rates, which is completely the wrong move because that's going to give people more borrowing power, and that's going to keep prices from falling. They may fall some if we finally hit this consumer brick wall. But then if they do an emergency rate cut, what's that going to do? That's going to slow down the correction. We don't need to slow down in a correction. We need a fast correction. We need it now. Again, we need this whole thing to come down and restart it, hopefully, with a little bit of common sense, not zero interest rates, not all this trillions of dollars thrown all over the place, helicopter money. Here's how Wolf Street put it. Household debt delinquencies, collections, and bankruptcy. The free money era is over for our not so drunken sailors. Everything got more expensive over the years. The population grew, so debts rose. Folks, it's all over the place. Even some of the business news networks, news channels are talking about this. Like we talked about a couple of the well-known today, a couple of the well-known news publishers putting this out. Here's how Housing Wire is putting the housing market right now. Most recent home buyers regret their decision, folks. The cost of carrying a home is so much right now. And insurance is just something that just went up way more than even I thought would go up. I knew it was going to go up. But when you look at all the disasters, when you look at the cost of living and the cost of just operating a business right now, imagine being in an insurance company. And sure, a lot of them are greedy and they're just lining their own pockets. But when you look at the cost of the materials and the labor, let's say you have to rebuild a house, it's outrageous, right? So businesses have to raise their prices, insurance companies included, restaurants, everywhere you look, folks. These businesses are ran by people, and just like you and I, they're people that have to contend with the high cost of living and this outrageous inflation, right? So until something's done to pull the rug out from this whole thing, from this easy money, money out of thin air way, then this thing is going to continue to get worse. We're going to need something big to interrupt this, to put a stop on this money creation, folks. And that's the only thing that's going to get us out of it. It's going to be sound money. We've got the BRICS nations out there with big announcements. We're going to talk about that maybe in our next report. I want to gather some more data on that. But you're going to see some big changes in the next few months, folks. So continue to prepare, continue to stack. Get ready for what's coming. Please give us a like, subscribe if you like what we talk about. I'm going to wrap this one up here. Everybody keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.